another origin story, and that's another thing. This is going to be a challenge for you guys, definitely.
Ooh, I love
Um,
challenges. It makes us think more creatively.
right.
Mm,
The challenge is that instead of what Marvel did in terms of their MCU, we will not be following an origin story
right.
for every character that we introduce. We'll even do our movies where the characters are already established. The origin will be, say, side characters
Mm,
and their own stories following the main character as the character is going through their trials and tribulations within that movie. So if you want to do an origin story, yes, we can do that in that regard with the deuteragonist, if you will. Like, say,
Hmm.
for instance, actually, you know what? Since I'm going to do that, I might as well just begin starting. So for me, I definitely will be tackling Superman,
uh,
and it will be his fight with Ultra Humanite.
Ooh, the Ultra Humanite. Interesting.
Hmm.
mm,
So yeah, if we were going through timeline wise, while the Marvel Cinematic Universe was still finding its feet, that
Hmm.
was probably around the time the rise, dawn, and war for the Planet of the Apes was still being made,
Hmm.
and apes were in around those time around that decade. So bringing in a very highly hyper intelligent man that morphs into a big brain super ape would have been very what's the word, would have been very acceptable for Superman to fight. And it wouldn't be just about strength per se. It'll just be ultra humanite. Yes, he's going to be big and bulky, but he'll be super intelligent, but very agile and crafty. So there'll be times
mm.
where Superman will try to pursue him, but there are times like Ultra Humanite will have this kind of like this sort of Home Alone sequence, if you will, where Superman's just flying through all of his traps, his
Oh, I
mechanization,
like
stuff
that.
like that.
I like
He just
that.
Yeah.
he's like Dr. Robotic and Superman Sonic, and he just run and run and run, just firing guns at him until
Uh,
you get
I have a question. How many years has Superman been Superman in the eyes of the people in this story?
for a sake of simplicity, I'll go 20 years.
Oh, okay. So he's been Superman for 20 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
at best, I would say he'll be Superman in his 20s, like say early 20s, mid 20s maybe. And Lois will be introduced to us as Lois of her mid to late 20s, maybe older than Clark, maybe age her up a bit.
What? Yeah. What I mean here. Let me be a little more specific. How long has Superman been defending Metropolis? 3, 4, 5 years?
Okay,
Mm,
so simplest answer will be 5 years
Okay.
as Superman. And so far, we only get one mention of Lex Luthor, or maybe a brief cameo of Lex Luthor. He is not the main villain.
Yeah.
He's a sub villain. So what I want to establish for Lex Luthor is that he's this tycoon, almost in the same vein as Xanatos, if you will, this
mm.
Okay.
humanitarian tycoon that harbors a darker edge to him.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm cherry picking from Smallville, because Smallville would have been around this what 13th season at that
Right.
point, or 10th
Yeah.
season. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm cherry picking the friendship between Clark and Lex Luthor from there. So they'll start off as kind of like semi good friends. They kind of have shaky ground. You don't really get the answer to why they're on shaky ground yet until we get to the sequel. If I ever do decide to do a sequel and explores Superman taking on Lex Luthor, and the main villain and the villain the powerhouse villain of that episode will be Metallo.
Okay.
Good choice.
Yep.
That's a great
So
choice.
so first things first, he'll take on a super genius. Just I don't know Ultra Humanite's real name, so I'll just call him Justin Stingberg or something like that. Who later
Okay.
who later discovers that there's this sort of rock that holds kryptonite in it. Because Superman's been operating for 5 years, hasn't been contested yet completely.
Oh, I could already picture the opening of this movie right now too. It could be because where do we get all of our information from? The news. So it could be a news report about Superman, the humanitarian, how he's going around saving everybody, and how he's inspiring good deeds around the world. Saying like, then we can say that Lex Luthor is providing charity benefits and giving giant
Just
checks
as
to the police
Justin's
department.
villainy is fueled by his rivalry with LexCorp. So his let's go with the Green Goblin storyline with him, where his company is on the decline while LexCorp is on the rise.
Yeah.
So he happens upon a meteorite that LexCorp was about to procure. He was going to procure himself because he discovered it himself.
Mm-hmm.
LexCorp got in the way. So he sends a group of guys to pilfer the meteorite. Superman jumps into LexCorp. It's gonna play out that same episode where Kryptonite is introduced in Superman the animated series, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So he's bombing. He's doing good in the fight for a while, but he stands near the kryptonite, and that's where they kind of get a bit of the drop on him until Lex come in and help him out. And he's like, Superman, you could have took you. Yeah. I recognize that voice, right? Superman,
Yep.
you could have taken those guys out with a flick of your finger. What happened? I don't know, Lex. Just felt weak for some reason. Lex will be played by Clancy Brown, by the way.
Oh, you're gonna have him play Clancy Brown's gonna be Lex Luthor?
Yep.
Ooh, I like this already.
Because look, here's where I'm standing right now. Clancy Brown did the voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to see him wear the suit with the bald head. Man can look good bald too. You seen him as Kurgan with his bald head.
Yeah.
Tell him you cannot have seen Lex Luthor, not Lex Luthor back then because his eyes was pretty wide back then, but him as his age now, sort of, or at least where his age was going around that time.
I could even see old man Lex Luthor.
Yeah, but yeah, like that's where we established that kryptonite affects him, and even Ultra Humanite. I'm just gonna keep calling it Ultra Humanite because I'm not gonna be consistent with the new name that I gave him. So Ultra Humanite is spying and noticed that it was the rock that harmed him. Like nothing else was in that area but the rock. Especially when the Crooks took it. When the Crooks took him away, one of the Crooks
that's actually good too. When the Crooks are running back and reporting to the Ultra Humanite, they said we don't understand. Superman had us dead to rights, and yet he just stopped. And the Ultra Humanite is going, now that is intriguing.
Yep, and he looks through the cameras, and like the moment one of the Crooks takes away the rocket and makes off with it, Superman gains his strength back, beats the crap out of him. They make the retreat. You know what I'm saying? And that's where he says that's where he connects the dots, and that's what will be set up. He'll be experimenting with the kryptonite. Unfortunately, the kryptonite and the experimentation that he's going through affects him in so many ways. He's going through gene therapy. He's experimenting through gene therapy with the apes. One of the apes will be named Mala.
Oh, Monsieur Mala, I like it.
Our first candidate for Suicide Squad, by the way,
and a beautiful little homage to the Doom Patrol.
Yep. So we'll be one of the apes will be Mala. He was the only survivor of the gene therapy, whereas the rest have perished, which will give him his villain motivation. When we kind of I would say we can save him for a Flash, a Flash movie.
Mr. Mala?
Mala. Yeah, Mr. Mala.
Okay. Which would actually be really interesting because if it shows that Mala is having a wide range of intelligence, then he said, like he could say in passing in dialogue that it's increased the intelligence of this ape Mala, and they're like going, what is he learning? French.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Humanite will say that. Definitely, he'll say that. He'll also have a supercomputer, which will later become the brain,
Oh, I
or at
love
least
it.
I don't think I'll have him as a little brain in a jar, though. I
No,
don't know.
what if the brain? What if Humanite wrote the AI program that was purely from his, so it
Mhm.
was on his thought wave, so he could say "Good morning, brain," and the brain could actually be like an acronym for something, bionic, with robotic,
Whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want
So
which
oh, and that would actually be perfect because then, he's testing everything, and then suddenly these guys in suits are coming in and generals, and they're basically confiscating stuff. And he's like going,
mhm.
"What are you doing? This is all my research. What have you done?" And, this is where we can throw in again a bit of subtlety saying that his stock people are, well, no, not stock. He says that, finances are just no longer there. And Humanite's like going, "Wait a minute, what are you talking about? I've paid, all my dues, dotted my I's, crossed my T's." And it
And
turns out that his financiers or his board of directors had embezzled the money.
right, right.
And
So
now
we'll
he
get
and
that.
now and now he's left himself wide open for a hostile takeover of another company. And who's the biggest company in Metropolis? LexCorp.
Right.
Right.
Who was the deuteragonist that we are focusing the sort of origins aspect of this
Oh,
story?
we got the Ultra Humanite, but we also got Monsieur
I'm
Mala.
asking myself this.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So drum roll. Jimmy Olsen. We'll be introducing Jimmy Olsen in this movie. So we are established that Superman and Lois are operating in Superman's career 5 years. Um, I didn't really specify how long Lois was operating the Daily Planet.
Hmm.
Let's go with 18 years or something like that. You know.
Which would actually be perfect because Jimmy Olsen's an intern and he's coming in.
Yep, and
And
that
so,
will be.
so no Perry White.
oh no,
Of
Perry
course we're
White's
going.
great.
Of course we're going to have a
Oh,
Perry
okay.
White. I'm saying
Oh,
like I'm saying it's
Perry
going to be a
White
Superman
great.
story, but it'll also be Jimmy's origin story.
Okay, I follow you. Okay.
Yeah,
And
so
Perry
we'll
basically,
still be following Superman, but at the same time, slowly we'll be establishing Jimmy as a photographer, kind of like Peter Parker in Spider-Man.
oh,
Okay.
I
Because
like
remember,
that idea. So this movie is told from Jimmy's point of view.
hmm so Superman Clark Kent will be in you know in moments of where we have those inspirational speeches, you know, from him to Jimmy. Like there'll be a scene where Jimmy was there with Lois at LexCorp, where Superman was getting his ass handed to him by a bunch of crooks because Kryptonite was right there. Because that would be the MacGuffin
The
to
MacGuffin plot. I like it.
the MacGuffin plot. Yeah, thank you, Schooner.
No problem.
So that would be the MacGuffin to the plot itself. Jimmy felt like he did nothing in that in that whole event. Like he tried to bump one of the crooks, but he gets leveled for his troubles, and of course Clark has to sit him down and say, hey, you did what you had to do to protect Superman, and that was good enough. You know what I'm saying? Something to that
He
effect.
could say, yeah, he could say, "I'm sorry, Superman. I thought I was helping you out," and Super's like saying, don't blame yourself. Something else was, yeah, that would actually work too, especially because
Yeah.
in this version, are we going to say that Jimmy's a bit timid?
Yeah, he's gonna be
Uh,
a timid. He's gonna be the sort of
Underdog.
yeah, Peter Parker XB with a bit of timidness to him. Like
That's what it said. Yeah.
like he the scene plays out. He walks up into the office looking for a job, brings his portfolio in as a photographic journalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Lois is the one that gets him through the door. much like
Yep.
much like Elizabeth Banks' character in
The
Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Let's
my
just
gosh,
say,
that would be brilliant too, because that would be the moment. I could totally picture this too. Jimmy's coming in to apply for a job, and Lois's former photographer just basically is packing up his desk and saying, "No way, I'm not going on any more adventures with you, Lane. I nearly died." And she's like, "Oh, come on, don't do this. Don't do this to me now. I need you more than ever." And he just walks right out, and Lois looks at Jimmy and says, "Who are you? I'm here about the job." And she's like going, "Really? What do you do? Photography? Really?" And then she grabs him, puts him right in the office. It says, Perry, and then when she walks right in, Perry says, "Lois, he gave his notice. I'm not going to convince him." She says, "Forget it, Perry. This is the new intern. He's a photographer."
right, you're hired. Come in here.
And he says,
Commander.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, Schooner. I just want to say it sounds like you're flipping the Metropolis scene. I'm sorry to go back to Donner, but it sounds like you're flipping the scene when Clark Kent arrives at the Daily Planet in the Donner version.
How keen are you? That's what I was about to mention. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be. It's basically just a callback to Donner's Superman with the Daily Planet. Sorry, Daily Planet in that regard. So again, I'm not gonna say who I'm gonna. I won't say who I'll cast because we wouldn't know who we would be able to cast around that time. Whoever is coming up. I mean, obviously it'd be a guy who looks just like Free Superman because he's now the He's always been the template for Superman at this point. There's no substitutions anymore.
Nope.
There was never any substitutions.
Or refund.
So it will definitely have to be somebody who can really look like Superman. Now I wouldn't go the singer route, which is ape everything from Donner's Superman. Like he will look like Reeves, but he will still have. Let's just say this: he will still have that aspirational Superman feel to him. And I'm not going to be leading off like, well, this is my Superman. No, it's going to be like the. If I were to go anywhere with what I'm saying, it will be me actually taking inspiration from the Fleischer animated shorts.
Okay.
I also like the fact that we're going to meet, that we actually meet Superman not as Superman, but as Clark Kent first. I like that. Especially if we're going from Jimmy's point of view, because Lois drags him into the office, says, he's a photographer, and Perry gives this like very like simple job interview, and by the conclusion, he says to Jimmy, "You're hired, and may God be with you."
So Perry.
Scooty, that's great. I like it already. Commander, I have a question.
Yes.
When you're thinking about casting for Superman, do you want your actor to be able to be believable as Superman as Clark Kent?
They have to do both. They will have to definitely do both. It will be a challenge, but yes, that's one thing I must stress when it comes to casting characters for superheroes, because they have to be able to wear the mask and be the man at the same time, or in the case of Wonder Woman, be the woman. So you have to really see the separation there, which can be difficult. And both Kevin Conroy, Tim Daly, and even George who was Daly's replacement in the Justice League?
Oh, George Newman?
I think so.
I think it was George Newman.
Or Newborn, something like that. Yeah. They were able to like I said, they were able to separate the man from the mask.
Because that's the problem.
Go ahead, Leia.
No, you're telling then I'll add. Go ahead, continue. I don't want to interrupt you.
That's basically the one thing that I want to impart, especially this goes for everybody who's going to contribute to this stream today, is that the actor needs to be able to do both the mask and the man. Hey, Victoria, you're the only one here.
Woohoo! So now we're performing a show for one.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you got all five of us are here anyway. So
somebody will get us on the back watch.
So at least I'm not sitting here by myself and talking to myself, and that's chaos.
Yeah, you got all five of us here. But my statement was, and since there's not a lot of people here, I guess I can say this. I haven't heard anybody, but my issue with Snyder's Superman is that I don't think Snyder did a very good distinction with Cavill as Superman and Clark Kent. Yes, Cavill is hot of hotness, but that hotness has to be toned down when he's Clark Kent. And I just wish that Snyder had saw that instead of playing hot all the time. Snyder should have
look at them pecs.
Well, that's
yeah.
exactly. He was basically playing Henry Cavill as Henry Cavill Clark Kent.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's the thing that we got to get with our Clark Kent, because
sadly he only became Clark Kent in Man from Uncle, but with a bit of a Han Solo flair to him.
Yeah, but
which, by the way, I'm like, Henry Cavill can act. Okay,
Yes,
I've seen Witcher. I saw Man from Uncle. He can act.
I agree.
You just gotta let him. You just give him a little bit of free reign here.
You gotta get a good. Go ahead, Scooney.
Yeah, you gotta give because what made Reeves' Superman so good was that Donner was willing to let Reeves do the part his way. So it didn't, and with Tim Daly as well in the animated series. So when you cast your Clark Kent, you got to be willing to give the actor a chance to put their own little spin on it.
And that's what Donner did with Chris Reeve. When Chris was able to
get back into the topic at hand.
Oh, okay. Sorry to get off the train. But I just wanted to make sure, because I think you could get some cute scenes. When you describe your scene in the chaos in the office, what you just described to me, I have to really, I just want to make sure that Clark Kent was sort of the bumbling goofball they think he is versus him just being the hot guy. That's all. But
which would actually work too, because when Lois pulls Jimmy out from the office saying that we got our first mission, who does Jimmy run into? It would be Clark Kent.
Yep.
And Clark Kent is like going, and to Jimmy, Clark is almost like kind of a mentor to him, despite the fact that he's, playing this bumbling guy. He's like going, like saying, "Whoa, you okay there? You okay there?" Helps him up, dusts him off, like saying, "Are you okay? What happened?"
My thing would be for Jimmy to comment on how tall he is.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. Yeah.
Kind of like play a joke off of the fact that he a lot of people like to say, "Oh, how people cannot understand that that's really Superman disguise."
Oh, I never bought into that. I mean, they always make jokes about that, like saying, "Oh, come on, Superman wears glasses. Superman doesn't wear glasses. Clark Kent wears glasses." I mean, it's the whole point is that Clark Kent is supposed to be invisible, but what I notice in almost every incarnation is that Jimmy really is is the only one who and Jimmy and Lois kind of more or less acknowledge his existence.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my points there. We're at the 40, so I will start with the conclusion, which is, of course, we know Clark has Humanite on the ropes. Humanite pulls out his trump card, Kryptonite cannon. Kryptonite cannon, blast, puts him down, puts him onto his knees. This is Jimmy's moment to shine in this area because Lois and Jimmy, Lois being the ever renegade and gorilla, gorilla, the other gorilla, find her way into Ultra Humanite's lair. They're already witnessing the fight between him and Humanite. Humanite is able to still match blow to blow with Superman because of the enhanced strength too that comes with his package deal. But he's also using his cunning to really distract Clark with machinery, robotics.
That would be cool too. I can already see Superman going through the mad scientist layer. He's got robots, he's got strange chemicals, and all that jazz.
And of course, Superman is like, look. I did establish that Superman has gone uncontested.
Mm-hmm.
Which means he's been going through this story knowing full well that any situation he has come across, he has won. Mm-hmm. So that we'll put a little arrogance in him. He's grown a little bit arrogant throughout the years. before kryptonite even fell to Earth. So he's like anything you throw at me, I can deflect, I can take. You know, what do you really have? He's like, you know,
Oh, and that's
human.
the villain's monologue too. He basically says, "Man of Steel, the Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, the Last Sun, you know, all that kind of jazz. You've been completely you know, he's doing the villainous monologue, and Superman can call him out, saying, "Are you planning to talk to me here?"
No, I expect you to fall to your knees. Pulls out the cannon, blast, put him on his knees, as he said. You know,
Yeah.
and of course Humanite's brain is so vast that he's now it really amplified his arrogance now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we get a flip side now he's being arrogant. He's being a complete hypocrite now because he was taunting Superman about finishing the fight, you know, finish him off. But now he's now stalling, and that's when Jimmy gets the idea of where to stop the machine. And of course, Lois gives him that affirmation, Jimmy, you're a genius, you know. And really, what he'll say some mumble jumble, right? He'll just and brace yourselves for this one. So he's giving Lois this mumble jumbo, you know. There's this whole techno babble, right?
Mhm.
It's like, and she's like, Jimmy, you're a genius, you know. It's I just need all thing I need you to do is distract him. And of course, Lois does what she does, distract him, like she's she's being a reporter. Excuse me, Ultra Humanite, can we can I get your close up and tell me how you're gonna defeat Superman this time?
Lois Lane,
Lois,
yeah, I love it. Lois Lane, Daily Planet. I need an interview. And he goes,
Get-
Lois, and he goes, Ms. Lane, what are you doing here? And she says, about to witness the death of Superman. Are you kidding me? This is front page news.
mm-hmm. Get a little camp vibe on that, and of course,
And
all
Humanite, just like you're saying, Humanite pauses and basks in that idea.
mm-hmm. Because again, the kryptonite's gone to his head. The vanity has hit him in a way, which will also hint at what's going to happen with Lex Luthor. Maybe sometime down the road during DCEU as we're writing it.
Mm-hmm.
So we think Jimmy's going to do some big hacking jury rig thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, he just takes a wrench and hit the most important component in that machine and shuts it down.
Oh my gosh, I can totally picture Jimmy too. Okay, Jimmy, this is a super highly complex machine. Got to use delicacy, and we're gonna go really slow. And grabs a wrench and just starts bashing it.
Yep. And he's like, "No, what have you done?"
That's
you know,
cool.
that whole mumble jumble, and of course the can blows up. Jimmy through Hollywood standards survives the explosion,
Mm-hmm.
and of course Superman takes out Ultra Humanite. You know, day is saved. They come back to the planet, and it plays out the same way the Fleischer films would end. The Fleischer shorts, where Clark is just sitting there with his hands in his pockets, and of course, Jimmy and Lois are both chatting it up about what happened to today's events, and Clark jumps in. And they're like, "Oh, Clark, we wish you were there," and he just gives that knowingly wink to the camera, and that's where it ends.
Great.
Yeah.
So that's
I
my
like
Superman
that.
take.
I'm excited. That sounds better than what I'm seeing. Then, Whoop, you sound better than what DC has going right now. And I think the audience would love it.
So yeah, it'll be cherry picking a bit from Smallville, and it'll be the template, the point of reference is the Fleischer shorts. So I want it to be just like the Fleischer shorts. It'll be, you know, it'll just boil down to, you get a little darkness too with the way how Humanite as a human was treated. You know, he's down on his luck. He's inspired. He's been a working man up to this point, and Lex, the competition, is completely overshadowing him. So he's going through so many drastic measures to really stay up on top, because at his height, he was at the top of the game in his scientific achievements, rivaling that of Star Labs. And we'll definitely get a Star Labs mention with Professor Hamilton as well. So we
I
get
can already see that too. When they're coming in and they're seizing everything, and he says, "You can't do this to me. My name is, whoever we decided to name the Ultra Humanite." I
forgot.
was,
I don't know his real name. He's got a real name, but I just don't really
yeah.
know much about Ultra Humanite.
But he says, I was, I've been the head, he says, I graduated with high honors here and there. My family built this company when stuff like LexCorp was barely past its, when it was barely past the bank loan, barely past its bank loan, barely past bank loans or something like that. And says that, I once turned down working for Star Labs.
So who else want to take it from here?